Good evening, everybody. Welcome to our Q&A tonight. I hope everyone is doing fine. It is 1 minute to 7. We're going to get this show rolling fairly quickly here. If you haven't already, which many of you haven't, please type your name in the chat and where you're from. Just curious. Take a look. Hello, everybody. Nancy and Russell. Haven't seen you guys since 7:30 this morning. Hi, Lise. Bonjour from Montreal. Hey, guys. I am flying solo tonight. Yep. Oscar and Megan are in the air right now on their first leg of their journey to Pennsylvania, where Megan's from. And they'll be gone for a week. So you got me. Then you got me next week. We're doing a general Q&A. Ask anything about Panama, and I'm going to do my darndest to answer it for you. And next week, we're going to talk about pet relocation. So we're going to begin very shortly here. For those of you who don't know who we are, I'm just going to do a short 30-second commercial from our sponsors, which is us. Gotta find it though. There we go. And I'll be back and then we will begin. Oop, I forgot to come back. Okay. Now, for you guys who did not know who we are, that's who we are. We are Retire in Panama Tours. We offer 7-day cross-country tours, 3-day Cherokee Highlands tours, and complete relocation packages. So, but for this call tonight, we're just going to answer any questions you guys have. We do this Q&As every single Thursday at 7 p.m. Panama time. Unfortunately, Panama time doesn't change. The rest of you guys change. 7 p.m. because we're always in Eastern Standard Time. I apologize in the email that went out. There's one place that said 7 Eastern. Well, it was actually 7 Eastern Standard, but as opposed to Eastern Daylight, and that confuses people. But so we're 8 o'clock Eastern now, and then when there's no daylight savings, we're 7 Eastern. But every Thursday we do these. We do one general, and then we do 3 specialty. Next week, I mentioned we're doing pet relocation from Panama to the USA. The week after, we're doing Meet the Expats, and we're going to meet a bunch of different expats and interview them. You ask them questions directly who live in the Cherokee province area. Moquete, Volcan, David, all those areas. And then the week after, we're going to meet expats from the beaches, Coronado, Gorgona, down to the Swirl Peninsula, and you guys can ask them questions. That's on the April 17th. For you guys to want to see our Q&A lineup, I'm just posting the link in the chat. You'll see it come up in a second. What you can do, you can subscribe to our calendar. It doesn't give us your email or anything like that. It just displays our Q&A calendar, only Q&As, onto your Google Outlook, Apple Calendar. So if you look at that page, you'll see how to do that. And we have a couple more. We have a special announcement Q&A coming up at the end of the month. You guys need to register for that one. And that's all we're telling you about that one right now. And then we start at the beginning of May with a general Q&A. All right, so we're going to move into the Q&A portion of this call. I think I just lost the comments. There we go. So from this point on, folks, let's only have questions in the comments. Now, you guys can bring up any single topic you want, and we will talk about it. And people still saying, still coming on. Hello, Teresa. How are you? So who wants to go first? Who wants to type their question into the chat? And then I'll bring the question up. And we will get started. And if any of you want to come on live and ask your question live, you got to share your, you'll be sharing your camera and your microphone with us. Type the word in live, L-I-V-E. Pensionado program. Hello, Betty. How are you doing? Availability now. Pensionado program was introduced. Now I'm going to screw up the year. I think it was 2005. It's a long time. It hasn't changed. It is totally available. It will, as far as we know, will continue to be available. It's a great asset to Panama. Government knows it. The people know it. People just come here and bring all their retirement money and spend it in Panama. So it's great. So yes, it is available now. It's the easiest and one of the least expensive permanent residency visas you can get in virtually any country you want to live in the world. It literally takes 46 months and costs under $3,000 all in. You never have to do it again. You don't even have to live here permanently. You just have to be here once every 2 years. So that is, all the questions. Now they're down here. Okay. How long it takes to get the visa, and do you have to be in Panama? And there we go. There are actually about 35 different visas in Panama. It's crazy. The three most popular are the Pensionado visa, which is for anyone receiving a lifelong pension. It has to be a lifelong pension, or it could be an annuity from certain companies, but it can't be a self-administered annuity that you set up for yourself. So it can be a government pension, a private pension, a private annuity from a life insurance company, stuff like that. It has to be lifelong, and they're going to want proof that it's lifelong. They obviously don't need proof for Social Security and Canada pension and stuff like that, because the government here knows those are lifelong pensions. So for the Pensionado visa, it takes anywhere between 4 and 6 months to get. You have to be here during both the original process, the filing process to get your temporary visa, and the final process when the visa is ready in 4 to 6 months to pick up your permanent visa. The second most popular one is the Friendly Nations visa, which has 3 entrances to come in on. One, have a job offer from an existing Panamanian company that has a current government profile and Panamanian employees. And there's no investment required, just a job offer and a job for a minimum 2 years. And it's a 2-year process for a visa, actually 2.5. A lot of them say 2 years. Well, I don't know anyone that's ever got it done in 2 years, because it takes a few weeks to apply. Then you wait the 2 years, then you got to apply again. So before you get your permanent residency, it's like 2 years and 4 months. And the third most, the other 2 options are $200,000 investment, either in real estate or a bank certified deposit. And you must hold the real estate or hold the deposit for 3 years, or 2 years and 4 months, like until you get your permanent visa. After that, you can do whatever you want with it. And you have to be here during both processes. You got to be here at the start to apply and get your temporary visa. Then you have to be here physically for the second application after 2 years to get your permanent visa. It's two complete applications. So you literally are here for multiple times with the Friendly Nation visa. Now, the third most popular one is the Qualified Investors Visa. And this is the only visa I know of that you don't actually have to be here. And it's $300,000 investment in real estate or a whole lot of money in a CD. I think it's 500 or 750. It's crazy. Most people just use the real estate portion for this one. You get your permanent visa. They say in 30 days. It's more likely going to be 6 weeks. And you don't have to actually be here. And there isn't really even a need for a temporary visa, even though you get one, but the permanent one comes so quick. So those are the three most popular visas. Okay, trying to keep the comments clean because Megan's not here helping. For a 3 week stay, I need a rental, maybe a 3 week stay near David Beach and a car. How hard is it to drive around David? If you have Uber or Waze, it's no problem driving around. You got to make sure you have a data plan that's working on your phone. It's horrendous traffic. There are only, I believe now, 6 traffic lights in all of David, a city with a population of approaching 200,000. So it's crazy traffic, really slow to get around there, especially during rush hours. And at 3, yeah. And to get a rental, definitely Airbnb is going to be your bet to get a rental. There's only one real beach near David, outside of David. That's called Barqueta Beach. There are some short-term rentals in the one condo tower there, so you can always check that out. And David also has Uber and InDrive. So if you don't want to rent and just want to Uber around, it's so cheap. It's like a buck or two to get around to different places in David. Or there's the yellow taxis, but if you don't know any Spanish whatsoever, the yellow taxis are difficult in David. So I prefer Uber or InDrive. I just brought up the same question. I hope I didn't delete the wrong question. I might have. Okay. Concern about getting healthcare at 74, no pre-existing conditions. Majorly, two things. You can get an international plan, but you have to be under 75. So if you're going to get here and apply before you're 75, you still have a chance to get a fully comprehensive international plan. Now, if you don't get that, there are a couple places. One of the in the city and out here in David, private hospital insurance um, that you can get if you're over 75. It is limited insurance, though. It's a copay. It's typically around a $50,000 a year coverage. And a lot of people from the US say, "Whoa, that's nothing. That's like a broken leg." Well, not here. It's not. $50,000 is a pretty good major surgery here. But so, and it's in the private system, and they take people over that age. Typically, up to 80 is not really an issue. People over 80, they really, really want to check you out. We've had one successful over 80 this year, but between 75 and 80, as long as you got some decent health, you're pretty good odds of getting a policy with them. Mhm. Now, if anyone wants at any time, I don't sit here and type referrals into the chat. That's crazy. But I'm just going to put our website on the top in the chat. Now, we have somebody that deals with the both of the insurance I've talked about here. If you want to be connected to them, just send us, fill in our contact form and ask what you need. I just put it in the chat. Okay, next question. Nicole, are there any zoning limits to Airbnb renters or parameters around or it? Yes, there is. In the city, there are a lot of zoning limits around Airbnbs. In most areas of the city, unless it's zoned for short-term rental, it is not allowed, and that's why you don't see a lot of Airbnbs. They still do it, but it's just a matter of no one's enforcing it. In many of the gated communities and buildings along the beaches and stuff, they might have specific laws in their HOAs that prevent less than 45-day stays. So if you're looking at investing for Airbnb, there are some specific guys working in that business in Panama City that can find you pre-zoned Airbnb properties. And I got a guy I can connect you to if you're interested. Nicole, just send us an email through the website and we'll make a connection for you. But also you need, even if you're running an Airbnb, you need to be legal. You need to have your license, pay your taxes, stuff like that. So you need a good accountant and a lawyer to set you up with all that. So because you can get called out pretty easy, especially in small towns like Boquete, Coronado, stuff like that. Okay. Ellen and Bob, how are you guys? Or Eileen and Bob. And Roland. Is it better to get private or public health insurance? There is no such thing as public health insurance. Panama has a very low cost public health care system. Let me give you some examples. You can can go to a clinic, a public clinic, which is in all small towns, even the big cities, and you can see a doctor for 50 cents to $1. Swear to God. It's crazy. You can have some labs run for $5 or an x-ray. It's just, or you can see a specialist for $5 or $7.50. Or it's basically on what you can afford, yet their doctor's visits seem to be pretty standard at 50 cents or $1. You can have a surgery. A friend of mine did not have private healthcare insurance, and he had a hernia rupture on him in Panama City. It was a really serious scene because the rupture was outside, like he was bleeding everywhere. And so they rushed him to the public hospital. They saw him right away. They brought him in, and this is in Panama City. So the public hospitals there typically will have staff on that can help you, and they have doctors available. So they got it. They did the surgery, and he remembers waking up in what he tells me was a dormitory. There's at least 12 other beds with patients in there, like pre-op type patients in there. And he was in a lot of pain, and he asked for pain medicine, and they brought him ibuprofen, but he was in there 3 days. And when he got out, he was a bit nervous. He lives off his pension, about the bill and stuff. But the bill was $180, and with the option to pay it over 12 months at $15 a month. So that's how the public healthcare system works. I'm not going to praise it saying, oh, yeah, you can move here. I would not be comfortable. I've been in with other people helping them, the public system. I just couldn't do it. It looks like hospitals of the 1960s, and they're crowded. They don't have the equipment. And then the smaller centers, a lot, like even in Boquete, our public hospital is not open at night. It's only open during like 6 to 6 type thing. We have to go to David. But that's the same in most cities outside of the country. There are some big ones, larger ones now in Panama. David's got a big public hospital, and Chatre does, that can attend you at night too. So, and then the insurance is used in private hospital facilities. We have private doctors here and public. We had an incident on our tour we just finished that a guest needed to see a doctor. And it was pretty stressed when they needed to see it. We could have taken him to the public Mensa. Well, Oscar and I have a lot of experience here. Oscar's been here. My business partner has been here 16 years. I've been here 13 years. We know we would have possibly had a 1 to 2 hour wait. And if they would have had to do any treatment or anything like that, it might have been to Debbie or it might have been several more hours of wait. We instead, we're prepared for this type of things. We have all our favorite doctors on our WhatsApps. I contacted one. She right back to me. Okay, we're on our way over. We took him over there. The doctor's visit was $15. This is private. And he was extremely dehydrated. And he had some reaction to his medicine. And they got him into a room. They have an emergency room there. They got him on an IV drip of saline and other medicines for just over an hour. And the total bill, including his visit, was just over like $102 or $104. And that's the private system. Immediate care, very affordable. The doctor he saw is actually my personal doctor. But he's $15 per consult. I've had labs done in town here for like a blood work done for $15. I had an X-ray once; it was $20. So it's very affordable there. And then the actual hospitals for things to get done, I can just throw some numbers out that I know friends of mine have had in the last 5 years. Heart stint, $7,000. Complete. That's complete, guys. That's your hospital stay, anesthesiologist, surgeon, everything. A hip replacement, $6,500, and it just goes in just crazy prices. I know someone that went through a complete 3-year cancer, and she won in the public system, and she beat it. There was surgery, there was chemos, radiation, that whole thing. And she was just tipped $60,000 in 3 years. Now, she knows, right? She had insurance, but we know what the bills are because you actually get the bills that the insurance company pays. So things that are like a quarter of what it costs in the US to get health care. So I'm a huge advocate of private health insurance. I've had it. I just turned 60. I'll tell you guys the God's honest truth. I turned 60. I have 100% coverage, meaning no copay, and I have $1,000 a year deductible on outside of hospital stuff. 100% coverage, no deductible on hospital or emergency. I pay $248 a month, and that's international flights, whether I'm here in Panama or around the world. I don't pay out of pocket. It's a large company that's 100% network and throughout Latin America, and they got a really strong U.S. Canadian network also. I don't have to choose what doctor to go to. If I don't even keep my doctor my receipts for the deductible because I don't come near $1,000 paying $15 doctor visits. So I haven't, I'm not at that stage, or I don't take any medications at this stage. So I don't need to keep it. So that is, hopefully I've answered a whole bunch of questions that will come up. Melanie, how are you? Always something new. Oh, good. When are you moving here, Melanie? We're waiting for you. Can you have your own builder build your home there? Well, if you're talking about bringing in a builder from outside of Panama, you're going to have some challenges with work visas and stuff like that. But a Panamanian builder, you can hire someone here to build, and you can oversee the build. That's not an issue. I highly recommend. We've had many of our guests. We helped them, with the builders and everything, but be here if you build. You're not going to get what you want, and if you're not here virtually every day when you're building a home. I will say that. Kevin Miller, how is the cost of living for a single person 61 years old on Social Security? Well, Kevin, I'm not on Social Security. I'm still working, as you see, but I'm almost your age. Not yet. In less than a month, though. I can tell you my cost of living if you want to write it down. I know what it adds up to, so I'm going to tell you. But when I'm done, my rent is $800 a month. I just moved. For those of you guys who don't know, I finally got my big office with my big wall of all these Panama pictures I have. I have a very large house. I don't need it. I was living in a $600 a month place, but I felt like this is 2,500 square feet, 4 bedrooms, 4 baths. It's kind of crazy, but growing our business, I need the space. I like to, we're entertaining here now, some of our group people and stuff like that. So, yeah. So you can find a place like if you are on a budget for under 800, but I pay 8. All of my utilities, I'll list them here: my electric, my gas, my water, my garbage, my cell phone, my internet, and my 2 streaming services are $120 a month. My food is about $300 a month as a single person. I shop mostly at the farmers markets in town, and then I go out to lunch at least twice a week. But my lunch is $5 and $3.75 in some places because I now get the pensionable discount, even though I don't ask for it on those lunches. Some of the ladies just insist I take it. But and go out for dinner, at least once a week. I like to travel a couple times a year, so I got enough money for trips and stuff like that. I have a brand new car I bought, and my insurance is $550 a year. That's full insurance. Cannot buy anymore. And my health insurance is $248. So if you looked at that, that's my real cost of living. I live on less than $2,000 a month. So, and that includes my trips. Because my actual numbers are around 1,600. I can save money, and I went to Medellin for a week, and so I go places that are really cheap but really nice, and you can do that if you live in Panama. So I hope that helps you, Kevin. You can live cheaper than that, and you can live a lot more expensive than that. There are a lot of nice places to rent. I'm not saying mine's not nice. I have a nice place, but you can go really, really high end. There's places for rent up to $3,000 a month in Panama or more. But there's also places for rent for $500 a month, which are very basic. Okay, Barry and David, how are you guys? Do most rentals in Phuket have window screens? I've been hearing about the bugs and scorpions are pretty prevalent. The bugs aren't bad. The bugs, I grew up in Saskatchewan, Canada. The bugs are way worse. The bugs are even worse in Vancouver, Canada than they are here. We haven't had our first rain yet. I noticed it froze there for the rainy season, but after that, for about 2-3 weeks, we get a lot of bugs. I guess they've been hibernating. Do most houses have screens? Yeah, probably most, but only 60-70%. The lower end houses, you're going to have to ask. Yeah, my house got a screen on every window. It's one of the things I insist on because I don't like any bugs. And you know what I have more of a problem with in Bokenti is birds. Now, if you don't, I even have to put screens in my doors because I like leaving my back door wide open for the dogs. So I put one of those magnetic screens because birds fly in all the time. And if I leave the front door open, which I can too, in the non-buggy seasons, birds fly in because there's so many birds here. So screens are more important for birds. Scorpions, your biggest problem, they're going to come in low typically. So they're going to come in under the doors. What most rentals don't have here is door sweeps and door seals. So when I move, it's one of the first things I do. I go to the center, I buy the door sweep, and I buy the trim, window and door trim, and seal at my house because that's where the scorpions come in. And since I do that and put some sticky traps under my furniture, especially in my kitchen, I don't typically have that. Hi again, Betty. Is there access to VA? There is access to VA and FMP and TRICARE for life. Right here in Boquete. For those of you guys, again, the Q&As. Many of you, Betty, you should probably watch last week's Talking with Your Panama Doctor. We interviewed a doctor for an hour here who is certified for FMP and VA and TRICARE. And she talks a lot about that. So just go to our YouTube channel. I'm posting that in the chat. Click on live. Those are all of our live Q&As. They'll be in order. And then you'll see the Talking with Your Panama Doctor one. And watch that, and you'll get a lot of your questions answered there. Okay, Belinda, as a permanent resident, what happens if we miss the 2-year visit? You are banned forever, Belinda. No, just kidding. No. You don't want to do that because it's going to cost you some money. You got to get a hold of your lawyer who did your immigration and apply for an extension. And you need a reason for an extension, not just because you were too lazy to just jump on a plane and visit. The law is you have to enter the country. You don't even have to stay. You got to go through immigration, exit the building, come back in, get another flight. So you can extend it up to 5 years. Like during COVID, a lot of people were doing it, and the extensions were a problem, and they cost about $500. So the extension will cost you almost as much as a trip here. But hey, Teresa, some states, the lawyer will answer this for you tomorrow. Some states will, we get notaries on the Social Security letter, some we don't. So that's going to depend. The lawyer will tell you exactly what to do there. Pre-existing conditions on healthcare. There we go. Hey, Brad, pre-existing conditions. This is how they work. A lot of people say you can't get health insurance, a pre-existing condition. That's simply not true. One of our guests just got health insurance that has high blood pressure. No restrictions on it because they went to the doctor. I have high blood pressure. I take these pills for it. It's under control. The doctor checked. Yeah, it is under control. He was asked for a follow-up visit where he went and his blood pressure was still under control. He has been given health insurance, international health insurance. Another client had a cancer 3 years ago and a surgery and a clean bill of health from his U.S. doctor. And they gave him health insurance, but excluded that particular cancer. So the pre-existing conditions that will eliminate your chance is daily insulin injecting diabetes. Okay. If you're doing that, I'm sorry, you will not get health insurance in Panama. If you suffer from just things like, let's say, multiple sclerosis, lupus disease, stuff like that, you won't be getting health insurance here. If you have high cholesterol, high blood pressure, and you're taking a heart medicine, and you had a cancer, and maybe something else, like multiple pre-existing conditions, you might have an issue getting any health insurance here. But if you have 1 or 2 pre-existing conditions, you might, you got to let a health insurance agent fight for you. One agency might say no because they've had too many problems with that pre-existing condition. Then another company might say yes. So one of the biggest things you've got to do is when you go for your medical checkup, you're going to have to, if you're applying for health insurance in Panama, you're going to need a medical checkup by a Panamanian doctor. Your U.S. medical checkup means nothing to you. Okay? So, but the night before, please don't drink 6 beer and eat a pint of ice cream. And then go there and, oh, your blood sugar's to the roof and your high blood pressure's high and stuff. You might, if you have some conditions, you might want to go get, talk to your insurance agent and get them to set you up at a different lab that does all the same tests. And let's see where your baselines are. Let's see what it's going to look like when you go. Mm-hmm. Okay. Hi, Jason and Michelle. How are you? How long do you have to pick up your pensionable visa after approval? This is a touchy subject. According to immigration law, you have to pick up your visa by the expiration of your temporary visa, because they promised to get it done in that time frame. So if your visa expires in June and they notified you in May, hey, it's ready, it's approved, you need to pick it up by the expiry. And if you don't, you can be fined every month. Now, it's a $50 fine, but they don't always even enforce it. If your lawyer communicates with them, now they can't return for this reason, whatever this reason is, make it sound scary, then they might not even fine you. But it's not going to go on for years, put it that way. So you need to consider getting as soon as possible. What banks are available for international banking? I can tell you one thing, Betty. There are 0 U.S. banks doing business at a retail level in Panama. First, understand that. When you come here, you're going to be opening up a bank at a bank you've never heard of before. All of these banks can accept international wire transfers from U.S. banks. That's how you do business here. Mm-hmm. It can get expensive. We have a Q&A on banking a few months back. But there are some ways you can get what do you call it? Wire transfers done cheaper. We'll teach you how to do that. But typically, you're going to pay, $50 to send a wire here at the cheapest level, maybe 40. Mm-hmm. Okay. Is it cheaper to buy in Balkan or Boquete? Depending what you're buying, but typically real estate as a whole is a bit cheaper in Boquete and land, especially if you're outside of Balkan or Boquete. So the values are better in Balkan. It's all basic, guys. We love Balkan. We don't have it on our 7-day tour because it's 3 hours of driving on the last day to get somewhere where only a small percentage of our people have ever moved to. But we offer it on a private level to take people, and people often, and we have several of our guests living there. We got people for you to meet there. We're going to meet with rentals people, and so we can go on the Thursday after our tour, and typically someone else will go with us too and make it very affordable. Major E, international, very expensive for my age. It can be expensive, but you got to think it's relative, okay? I already know what my international insurance is going to cost me in my 70s. 75 is when it no longer goes up. Typically, international insurance goes up on a 5-year scale. So I haven't had a big increase since 55. I've just had those 2% cost of living things, right? So mine went up when I was 60, and it's going to go up when I'm 65. It's going to go up when I'm 70. So I'm paying $250 now. I'm going to be paying $350 a month when I'm 70. And I'm going to be paying close to $400 a month when I'm 75 and older. So you got to think what that is. But don't forget, guys, if something happens to me, there's no other expense. There's no 10K deductible. There's no copay of 20%. There's no nothing. It's 100% coverage here. So if I'm paying 180 for part B, C, plus I'm paying for the drug coverage, plus I'm paying for all this other stuff, I could be paying $300 a month in the States or more. But your cost of living in Panama will save you way more, can save you way more than the extra you're going to pay in healthcare. Is David and Boquete prone to flooding? I'm going to say no, even though all you're going to say, oh my God, I saw those pictures in November. Yeah, we've seen nothing like that since 2008. And there wasn't a lot of flooding. If you live next to a river, some people got wet. When I'm talking some, like a dozen homes, okay? There were no homes wiped out. There was no people drowning underwater or stuff. Like it wasn't like that. David, not like the roads flood because there's poor drainage and the heavy rains, but there's no flooding. No, it's a flat land, and the rivers don't overflow their banks there in David much because they're quite close to the ocean where they're draining. So, okay, you guys have a real variety. Very simple. Pet relocation landfill, but cure. Oh, the cost is so varied, Teresa. Because if your pet can go on the plane, your total cost is probably, including your vet visit, health certificates, depending where you live, can be about $1,200. If your pet's going to go under the, like in the cargo, you could be up to $2,500. That's per animal. Sorry, the International Health Certificate is a scam in the USA. Sorry, I'm going to say that publicly. I just had I had a customer in the upper northwest, northeast, New Hampshire, that paid $1,200 for a vet to fill out an international health certificate for 2 cats. I phoned and ringed the vet. Okay, that's just ridiculous. And down in Texas, they're charging $600 to fill out international health. It's 30 minutes of their time. There's no reason for it. The USDA charges $30 to the vet, so to do the process. So shop around for your USDA vet, get some quotes, and you can save some money. Mm-hmm. Ellen, Bob, Roland, you get health insurance through a company like Pan Pacific Life Family Health Service in David. Go through an agent. Always, folks, whatever myth you've heard online that if you buy health insurance from an agent, you're going to pay more than a company. I'm going to show you how to prove that wrong. Go to an agent. You want a good qualified agent? Send us an email. Just click on the link on our website. Like I've showed you guys the website many, many times. I'm going to put it up on a screen again. Fill out the contact form. And, I think I lost it. I'm sorry, guys. So many questions. There we go. Private and get a quote from them. Go directly to the company now. Well, actually, on the stuff over 75, the insurance agent will show you the company's brochure, which has the prices right on it. 77, I believe it's $140 a month for up to $50,000 life insurance on a 30/70 copay. You pay 30, hospital pays 70. So go through an agent. You know why? Because all the communication with the insurance companies and the hospital administration staff are going to be in Spanish. Do you want to deal with that? And if you speak Spanish, you're fine. But an agent is the one that's going to help you with claims. It's going to help you with even the simple things. I need to change my credit card on my auto pay. That can be a nightmare if you don't know the language or how to do it. So, and even with the big guys, for those of you that are younger and are going for international plans, I've always done this with our guests. They get a quote from our agent, and then we go to the website. We use another email, maybe the wife's email. Don't care, but I shouldn't tell this on the live Zoom. We might put in a name that isn't quite correct, but usually you can get a quote right on the website, so it really doesn't matter. And you'll find the numbers are the same as the agents we use. They're not our agents are already getting paid by the insurance company. They don't need to scam you. So, anyways, on the pensionado visa, can I open a business? You absolutely can, Teresa. You just can't work in the business. When I say you can't work in it, you can't take the job of a Panamanian. So the example I'm going to use is a restaurant. You're in a pensionado business. Many pensionados have opened restaurants here. And the things you can do are you can handle the banking, the money, the advertising, the hiring staff, shifts, stuff like that. What you can't do, you cannot wait on tables. You cannot work the register. You can't clean. You can't cook. Those are jobs you got to hire Panamanians to do. Peggy, are there naturopathic doctors? They don't go by that name, but there is a clinic called Alpha Clinic just outside of Buketi that has they do everything from ozone treatments to various natural cures, stuff like that. So we're having lots of that. Public insurance requires residency. There is there's no such thing as public and health insurance here. Anyone can use the public health care system. Anyone, a visitor, anyone can. But you got to pay. You got to pay your 50 cents to see your doctor. Both Panama City and David have the best private hospitals. You have to go to one of those places if you're in the private system and you want the best care. But even there may be some, it'll be up. Like, I live close to David. I paid insurance for 10 years, folks. Do you think I'm upset that I've never used it? No, I'm quite happy. But in the event that I do need it down the road, I'll consult with my specialist. And if they feel there's a better surgeon for me in Panama City, I'll go there. Or if they can handle it in David. I know lots of people that get lots of stuff done in David. Eric, is there a foreign tax applied to purchasing property? There is no tax. There's a tax for the seller. There's up to 5% transfer tax. It's 3% and 2% for the seller, not for the buyer. Yes, there's nothing stopping you from owning real estate in Panama without being a resident. But Marjorie, I'm going to tell you, don't do it. Here we go again. We've always done this. Oscar, my business partner, yes, I know. For those of you who haven't come on or came on late, Oscar and Megan, my business partners, are on an airplane on the way to Pennsylvania. They get a week off. Okay, that's why I'm here alone. We'll always tell you, don't rush into buying. Really easy to buy here. Things are almost 1 year on the market here for sale. So, and learn to love the area that you're going to buy in before you buy it. So rent for a while. Hey, John. How's your power doing? Has Buketi had the outages too? Well, John, we had that one outage 2 weeks ago that the whole country had, but it was only for an hour here, according to my outage calculator. I don't notice a lot of outage. If we had an outage right now, you guys would notice a dimming of the lights. That's it. Because I have a battery backup system, and if anyone's in business and requires that, or loves to watch Netflix movies at night, you might want to pick one up too. It costs you $500 and you can carry on. You don't have to worry about your internet going out, or you run some lamps on it and your TV. But typically, when I moved here 13 years ago, the outages were multiple times a week. Right now, we're probably at a few times a month. And most of them are fairly short, like minutes. And I'm trying to think in the last 6 months that where we've had, there's been some areas of Boquete, like Valley Escondido had 2 blown transformers in the last 6 months. They had like a couple of days without power. Some major issues. Valconcito had some major issues. But I live in Bajo Boquete, and besides the the lights blinking once in a while, I have not experienced any power outages in months. Well, Roy, here's the thing. I'm not a loaded guy. I don't have, you know, I'm not wealthy, but if I was in a major car accident, trauma type car accident, and they needed a month to put me back together in rehab, I'm looking at a $50,000 bill here. I'll be looking at a $250,000 bill in the US. But here I'm still looking at 50,000. I want that covered. Or if I had like a simple thing, like needed a heart stent, I don't want to spend $7,000 on a heart stent. I would rather just be, I pay $250 a month, and anything happens, I'm covered. I'm not concerned about it. It's the same thing. Why I continue to buy the insurance for my house and not worry that my house is never burnt down where I had to use it. So I'm not, so I feel the same way about I feel strongly about my health than I do about my car and my, home and contents insurance. Hey, hey, Marjorie, oh, you're coming in June with us. Wonderful. Hey, yeah, you will personally meet, not just contacts. You will personally meet health insurance experts on the tour. Melanie, I'm coming. We've had this work question answered once, Jason and Michelle. Please go back to the YouTube channel, which I just posted the link a while back. Scroll back, you'll see it. Last week, we did a Q&A called Talking with Your Panama Doctor, with a doctor who is registered with FMP, VA, TRICARE, stuff like that. And we talk a lot about the different benefits there. There's even hospitals in David and Panama City that bill TRICARE directly if you have TRICARE for life. There are VA pharmacies, and I apologize, guys. That's why I bring people in like Dr. Shannon, who we had last week, because she is an expert. I'm not from the US and not a vet. So I believe it's FMP. I'm not even sure what that stands for. If someone knows, type it in the chat. And I do know, I just forgot. So watch that Q&A, and hopefully you should get all your answers there. You guys just have so many questions tonight. It's great. Water shortages in Coronado, and how worrisome is the issue? Well, typically it's not really worrisome for the general population because the big high rises have huge water backup. And if you buy any or rent anything in Coronado, just make sure it has a water tank, a water storage tank. There has been some incidents, and we even had it in Boquete. We had some major line damage that some places up high in the mountains weren't getting water for several weeks, and they had to send water trucks up to fill people's tanks. So it can happen. Yeah. It's an infrastructure problem. It's not, there's no way, like people say, well, Kenny's short of water. We are not short of water, folks. We have 180 inches of rain. We have reservoirs. They're full. We have an infrastructure problem. Old infrastructure and need more new infrastructure going forward. So, Betty, options, Panama City to David. There are 3. Number 1, 5 flights, 4 to 5 flights a day from both Tucumán Airport and Albrook Airport and Pacifica Airport on the other side of the bridge. So 2 from Tokuman, 2 from, sometimes 3 from Albrook. And they're about 110, 120 bucks a flight. The Panama Pacifico Airport can be as low as 60 bucks if you don't have luggage. Option number 2 is the bus. There's an express bus, which you probably want, and it runs several times a day. Costs between $18 and $24 if you're a pensionable or not, and it's nonstop. So it takes about 6.5 hours. Then there's the regular bus that makes stops along the way. It's cheaper, takes you about 8 hours. And the third way is private driver, but that's going to cost. And don't forget, it's just to David, Panama City to David is 7 hours. If you can run into traffic, it can be more. So for a driver, it's it's a full day for him, including a few hours sleep. So you're going to spend, $400 to $500. So. Nikki, best way to find a long-term rental. Come on our tour, and we will find one for you. I'm sorry, but it's true. When we've been in this country for, the 3 of us, Oscar, Megan, and I, we have well over 30 years experience helping expats move here. We have real estate guys, rentals people in every city in the country. Many of these people have pocket listings all the time, and they go first dibs, obviously, to the people that are on our tour, and when they're moving here. But the best way is to be careful. I'm going to say that. Be careful. If you see a too good to be true listing on Facebook or in Quinta Quattro or something like that, it probably is. Do not give anyone money without meeting them, and be careful when you meet them. So it's no different than if you were renting a home in Los Angeles or any big city in the States. You got to be careful. Okay. But, Nikki, if you can find yourself a good rentals agent, real estate agents, most of them don't deal much with rentals here. Okay. So you got to find like rentals type people. Okay. I think I just answered this, Kay. There used to be a lot of power outages in Bokeh. We have very few now. Humidity a factor on photograph books. I have a library with over 700 books. Hey, Sue. I've had it for years here. Never have a problem with it. I do in the rainy season, if it's raining a lot and it's very moist out, I have a dehumidifier and I'll move it into that room. Okay. We're getting close to the end. Last minute questions. April and May, Kate, are my favorite times. April through August, my favorite time of the year. We have, and this is throughout the country. So, the beaches are even less of the rain, but less of the quantity of it. But it's typically twice a week, you'll get an afternoon shower for an hour that cools things down nicely. But it's sunny the rest of the time. It's my favorite time of year. It's so fresh. You can buy all your supplies. Doctors will be happy to see you. That's no problem at all if you pay out of pocket. And Teresa, and does the animal have to go? Oh, I know you'll be on our Q&A next Tuesday, Teresa. We're doing an exclusive pet relocation Q&A. No, it's a home quarantine that we have to apply for and pay for. It's $130. John, yes. The online, if you guys are looking what's available, prices, rental, stuff like that. Sorry, I have to type this, and Panama has an MLS. People try to tell you out there's no MLS in Panama. That's simply nothing more than a lie. Someone trying to get you to their realtor or something like that. I don't know what their excuse is for saying that. So I'm putting in the chat because if I say it, everyone will say, what? It's MLS Echo Beer, sorry, Echo Beer. So that's Panama's MLS site. Everything for sale by a reputable company. And they do have a lot of rentals. So you can look at prices, John. You can find out what's available and stuff like that in Panama. So I just put that in the chat. Can the Santa Fe, both the Santa Fe Hospital in Panama City and the Cherokee Hospital Insurance can be used at other hospitals on a reimbursement basis. So, but David, honestly, I like the Cherokee Hospital because it's backed by Pan Pacific America, a company everyone has heard of here, huge insurance company. It can be used at Hospital Cherokee and Hospital May Lewis in Panama with complete reimbursement. So if you're going to be in the Boquete area, you should not bother with the Santa Fe plan and use the family medical from Pan Pacific. Mm-hmm. 3 to 4 years to sell. Well, maybe at one point. The longest was about 2 years on the market. Teresa, I've been an internet. I moved here as an internet marketer in 2012, and I had good quality internet ever since I've been here. Now, the internet probably goes out more than the US, but let's look at some facts here. I bring in 2 lines because of this business. I paid less than I used to in Vancouver for one. So I paid $33 for my 500 meg fiber connection from one company and $38 for my fiber connection plus a landline phone, which we require for the business, from the other company. So I have them connected together through a load balancing router. So I have 1 gigabit internet for under $70. So. Hey, can you buy private insurance without being a resident? Nope. You can buy the copay hospital insurance without being a resident, but that doesn't really work for the snowbirders because they have to go through the whole process of application and test every year that they come, and that alone takes a month. So you need to be in the process of residency. You need a letter from your lawyer or a temporary residency card to get international insurance here. You cannot be in the US or Canada or Brazil, I believe it is, for more than 90 days. Hello, A700 HP. You're named after your computer. That's funny. Sorry, I wasn't teasing you. But what address do we give immigration department when you apply? You need to give them a residential address. Your lawyer will help you with that. It's supposed to be where you live. A lot of immigration officers will accept the hotel that you stay in. Mm-hmm. Okay, I'm trying to get to the last couple questions before we get cut off here. We're like, honestly, Christine, we don't there's mosquitoes above 3,000 feet are not really an issue. They're very small and weak. I don't know, and we don't have dengue fever concerns up in the mountains. The dengue fever is in the jungle, lower land, stuff like that. We don't really, unless you're really in the jungle here, we don't hear a lot about dengue. But definitely over 4,000 feet, it's not common. It can happen. But one of the big strong ones makes it up the hill, but I've seen so few. I can't remember last time I got bit by a mosquito. I literally can't. But of course, if I live down in Santiago or David or stuff, maybe I can. Hey Betty, if you are you can get a realtor's license here as an expat after you have lived here for 5 years. You can work, if you come here, you have to have a work visa. So you can't come here on a pensionable and do that. You'd have to come on a friendly nations visa or something. So you can if you have a work visa, you could work for a real estate company as a consultant as long as they have met their number of Panamanian required to be working in their office. So. There are cougars up in the mountains. I have not even heard of a sighting. Okay. All right. All the listings and really seem to be apartment towers. Yeah. Yeah, I know. The realtor.com doesn't have a lot of Panama. So check out my MLS Echo Beer. All right. Thank you, Teresa. Hey, Carter. How are you? Ooh, if Oscar and Megan, if you're in your layover and you're watching, I did it by myself. Be proud of me. But pet relocation is something in my expertise. We're doing that next week. I'm going to walk through the whole process for you. There's honestly, unless you're stressed, if you're moving and stressed and you need some help, we also offer that service. It could pay $200-300 for it, and we'll do everything for you and walk you through the whole process. But honestly, you can do it yourself. You don't have to hire a company to spend thousands of dollars in doing it. I'm going to teach you how to do that next week. So, all right, folks, thank you for joining us tonight. Come next week. If you're not part of our newsletter, join. But please, on our YouTube channel, please like us and subscribe. If you subscribe to our channel, you will get the notification every day on your screen, on your device, that we have a Q&A starting. So please, I put the chat in there one more time. So subscribe there. You can watch them on YouTube. You can watch them all over Facebook, or you can come onto the StreamYard and watch them. All right, guys, have a great night. We'll talk soon.